All right, today's video is going to sound slightly controversial, but I'm going to go ahead and say this. If you're dealing with lust, you're not going to overcome it. You may defeat it, but you won't overcome. Let's just say I'm talking to myself, right? Because right in this moment, I am. And here's what I mean by what I said about overcoming versus defeating, and how you won't overcome, but you will defeat. So, to overcome something, by the way that I look at it, is to completely take over and to annihilate. And to defeat is to not annihilate, but to do away with for a period of time, or to do away with consistently. I feel like there's a big difference there. If we look in Second Corinthians, we see that Paul had a thorn in his flesh that was allowed by God. And this thorn didn't give Paul the ability to overcome, but we notice just based off of how he was saying that this particular thorn was there so that he couldn't boast in himself, but rather give glory to God. So that, in my mind, entails that while he may have had the ability to defeat whatever this thorn was, remember, I differentiated between defeat and overcome. He never fully overcame this thorn, but it was all for the glory of God, so that we could boast in our weakness, meaning that we can bring glory to God for even helping us defeat these situations. And while we're here on earth, what I noticed is that all of us have thorns in our flesh, right? For some, it's lust. For some, it may be a physical ailment, like literally, right? Um, for some, it may be a mental ailment. Um, but while there are things in life that we overcome, and God allows for those things to overcome, this video is specific to those things that we are able to defeat, and particularly speaking, lust. So lust being my thorn, I had always wondered before, like, I'm like, man, like, why can't I overcome this thing? And God's God gives us the power from the get-go to even battle against these certain things. And also what I mean by overcome these certain things is like, I'm not saying like I'm sinning all the time, right? But what I'm saying is that these feelings, these very, very intense feelings associated with lust, often attach themselves to me, right? Those are my demons, so to say, or a messenger of Satan, as Paul said in 2 Corinthians. But yeah, I mean, time after time again, I can remember just trying to pray away these certain things that I've dealt with. Um, and it's interesting because God still seeks glory through the times where I was crying out to take these things away, but he never took them away. he did take some things away, but um, again, like uh, the desire to, want to fornicate or have sex outside of marriage, or to be with different women, for instance, I find myself face to the ground crying out to God to help me through situations like that. And it leaves me dependent on God. But once again, I had mentioned, I think in the last video, just how he desires dependency from us in obedience. But if I had overcome this lust, right, in full, then there would be no need for me to even cry out or reach out to God, because I would have overcome it already. Um, or let's say I was able to overcome this alone, right? Or even defeat this alone. God still wouldn't get any glory from that. So he still allows this particular thing in my life. Again, which is lust, which a lot of men, I know that oftentimes we're like, man, Lord, just take this away, or like, why can't I overcome this? And just through life experience, I think that God just allows for these things to continue on sometimes um, in our lives, right? Those thorns. Um, he could take it away, but again, um, there may be, he understands us better than we understand ourselves. So, I mean, in taking some of those things away, there may be a level of pride that comes about from us, like, oh, look what I did. But God's like, nah. That's why he allows us to defeat certain things in our life. But that doesn't always mean that they're going to completely go away. Some things won't ever go away. And then we live in a fallen world on top of that. So, I mean, some things are expected, right? There's constant battles in life because we're in a fallen world. And those things may just be attached to us for a while. So, um, I was just thinking about that because I see a lot of videos on people saying, oh, here's how to overcome lust. But I feel like that's very, very misleading. What it should be saying, like, how to defeat lust, um, or how to depend on God to work through this. And that's the big thing, right? Just depending on God and learning to lean on him, and offering up ourselves, right, as living sacrifices. I mean, handing over ourselves to God and surrendering to God in full, crying, breaking down, mourning over our sin, so that God can cover us and get us through life, so that we can still defeat these demons in our lives. So that's really all I wanted to discuss today. And if there is something that you completely overcame, because again, there are things that God will completely lift from our lives, but then there's always new chapters, right? But anyways, if God did help you to completely overcome something, let me know. And then if there's something you can give God glory for, a thorn that you have in your life where he's helping you to defeat this constantly and consistently, let me know, because I love stories like that. And God has definitely dealt with me there, and has helped me to remain consistent in my walk. And he's been doing that by helping me to defeat lust. Y'all have a good one. Peace, love.